ESPN NFL specialist analyst, Michael Belle. I have a lot to say tonight, and I know you don't have much time, so I want to outline the topics that I want to talk about, and you get to pick what we talk about first. So, topic 1, Wentz is real bad, real bad, and we can talk about that. Number 2, it's nice to see Chris Carson back. Number 3, this is a bit of a longer topic. 2020 has sucked for a lot of people. What do you got to say, Carl? What do you got to say? Go for it.
It's a very big topic.
So, okay, but I'm coming at it from a specific topic here. So 2020 sucked for a lot of people, but has it sucked as bad as it did for Carlton Davis on Sunday? Mike knows what I'm talking about.
I don't know if anything sucked as much as that.
That was bad, man. He gave up 230 yards in the first quarter.
It was like not even the full first quarter. Tyreek was on pace for like 900 receiving yards.
Okay, next topic. The Seahawks have the best quarterback in the league, but the worst play caller of all time in NFL history. Next topic is, I'm going to say I'm 90% sure that was one of the worst called, like broadcaster-wise, NFL games of all time that I've ever heard of.
Terrible.
Anyway,
it was terrible.
I wrote down 4 or 5 things that they said that were just hilariously wrong. And then I just stopped writing things down because it made me so upset when I was writing them down. That's it. So you get to pick.
Okay, I'm going to start with Wentz because that's a topic that I like to get into.
Another one could be going for it on 4th down and just...
For both teams or for...
Yeah, for both teams.
The Seahawks.
Yeah, the Seahawks more specifically. But... Hold on. Right now on after the game, they have the division leaders, and the New York Giants are leading the division at 4-7.
4-7.
That's incredible.
That's huge.
What are the Cowboys? 4-7.
No, they lost this week.
3-8.
They lost to the Redskins. I'm pretty sure they're 3-8. I lost track of the losses.
They're 3-8.
Yeah.
That's fair. Okay, so
Washington's going to win that division for sure. Washington's better than all those teams.
So you want to start with Wentz?
Yeah. So I'm a big Wentz truther.
What does that mean?
It means that I think that he can be a lot. Like, I think that when he was like an MVP candidate, he was very, very good. And I think that like he's had a noticeable like drop in his production.
Why?
But he is like, I don't think he's as bad as his stats show. I think he's got like one of the bottom 5 like receiving corps in the league in terms of like separation, and then his O-line is a disaster. But like you can see it in some of his throws that like he doesn't step up in the pocket very well. So that's one of the reasons he's like this. He's been sacked the most in the league, and then he throws off his back foot a lot, and he's not as accurate as he used to be because he still has a good arm. He's got a lot of power, and he's usually pretty accurate. But some of his throws you see are like supposed to be back shoulder, and they're on the DB instead, or he's not on the same page with his receiver. Like on the interception, he was totally expecting Goddard to hook the other way. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And like Goddard's been in that system for as long as Wentz has, so that's like not something that should ever happen, especially on 4th down when Goddard's the guy that he's basically gone to the entire game to get yards.
Yeah,
and he's definitely most comfortable in the offense with him. And they're just like it was like 5 or 10 yards off where they thought they were supposed to be. Just like not something you see very often.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of that. I think he was really bad tonight.
It's just like
there was so many plays, Mike, where like the balls were eight to 10 yards away from where they should have been.
I know. I agree. And I'm watching his highlights right now. How many sacks did the Seahawks have like coming into this game?
The last 3 games they've had quite a few, but probably the first 7 they probably only had like 3 or 4.
Yeah, but they had what, 7 tonight? 6 or 7 tonight, I think.
6 or 7, yeah.
Yes, yeah, 6.
6.
Yeah, so they had 6 tonight, and probably could have had like 4 or 5 more if Wentz didn't throw the ball away, like at the last second when he was being dragged down. But like, it's just, I don't know. For someone that thinks Wentz has like a lot of talent, like you can noticeably see a drop off from where it used to be. And I can blame as much as I want on like separation in line, but he's missing a lot of throws that are technically like to open guys.
In the first half especially, there was quite a few that it seemed like he missed.
Yeah, and the biggest thing I saw is that a few times when he had guys running open deep, once in the first half to Goddard on like a corner route, moving to the right, it was underthrown, I thought, by quite a bit. Mm-hmm. And the same time in the second half on the PI, which is like impossible for I think it was a linebacker on Goddard.
It was Jordan Brooks, yeah.
It's literally impossible when the ball is underthrown a little bit and the receiver tries to come back to it to not get a flag. Yeah. But that's another play where it should almost be a walk-in touchdown if he puts air under that.
Totally.
So, like, I think like the PI flag saves him there from another bad throw.
Totally. So he makes about $35 million a year.
Yeah. So Philly, yeah, we can talk about that too. Philly's absolutely screwed.
Just based on that contract?
Based on that, like no team is gonna take Wentz probably with that contract. The best thing that Philly can probably do, and like I'm not saying they should start Hurts because I don't think Hurts will be any better. But like one of the reasons you keep Wentz off the field is to make sure that he doesn't like tear an ACL or get severely injured. So then you're paying somebody on your roster $35 million who's injured, and then you like 100% can't trade his contract. At least with a healthy Wentz, you can maybe like sweeten a deal for a team to take him that's struggling, like a Chicago Bears, or something like that. But like, and the only way I think Philly trades him is if they sweeten the deal or if he's like healthy or shows something in these last few games. But they're in a bad spot.
Bad spot. Okay, next topic. You pick.
I want to give a little bit of praise to DK tonight because I thought that was one of the best games I've seen him play in terms of contested catches and different routes run. And I was surprised that they kept attacking Slay because Slay's a pretty good DB most of the time. And you could see, like, even on some of DK's catches, like, Slay was right there, especially on the one in the second half on the left sideline. Yeah. Just like, you can't cover DK any better than that. And even the one on the goal line that he got tackled just short, it was good coverage again. I thought Lockett was going to have a bigger game because Roby Coleman is not very good, but I don't know. It seems like whenever one guy goes off, the other guy kind of has a meh game. Yeah. And that's, I guess, what you have when you have like a wide receiver 1A and a 1B. So it's nice. And then David Moore made a sick catch for a touchdown too. Mm-hmm. He's good. He's a good 3.
He's a good 3. I know. As soon as that play was transpiring, I was yelling at the TV. No, why are you throwing that?
It's weird. He got almost all of the red zone looks today. Yeah. It was kind of weird. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He got two plays drawn up for him that failed, and then he got a 4th down play to him. And I just don't understand that. If you're gonna run that, like, I hate goal line fades next to the end zone.
Me too.
But I don't understand why you wouldn't run something like that to Metcalf, who has size, and you run it to Moore instead. It just like I think Shoddy is like lucky that play succeeds because it's not a good design.
So I firmly believe in best person gets the job, right? Like if you are better than other people, whether it's an NFL wide receiver, a podcast producer, Carl, a janitor, a realtor, whatever, the best person should get the job. It doesn't matter if you're female, male, monkey, porcupine, black, yellow, or white. It makes no difference. Better people should get the job. I have no clue why Brian Schottenheimer has a job.
Well, dude, like
he should go back. Dude, he could learn stuff from the STM coaching staff.
I was so happy that you were watching what I watched because in a 5-play stretch, they ran the exact same wide receiver. Basically, we'll call it a wide receiver handoff, even though it's a pass. They ran the same play twice to David Moore. Once on 4th down and once on the goal line.
I don't know why.
I think both were 4th down, weren't they?
I'm trying to forget about it, to be totally honest.
One was like 4th and 1 on the 20, and one was right on the goal line, and Metcalf missed a block. But
that was on the goal line. Metcalf missed the block.
But like, why are you running the same play to your wide receiver 3?
Why is that the play call on 4th and 1 on the goal line? Why is that the play call? Why are you running a slow developing toss play that's coming to the outside?
They went Carlos Hyde, heavy set rush right up the middle, and then they went David Moore stretch handoff.
And then so we talk about Pete Carroll a lot and like going for it versus punting on 4th and 1 on midfield.
I love that they went for it. I think that's Schottenheimer's play. I think Pete Carroll decides to go for it, and then Schottenheim comes up with the play calls. But like, if I'm Pete Carroll, I'm fucking pissed that that's what he's calling.
That's my question though: is why are we basing our whether or not we go for it on how shitty the play calls are?
I know.
We need something, man. Like, why does he have a job? I'm texting Nav the entire game. Nav, one of our good friends, been on the podcast many times. Nav, he's a big Eagles fan. I was texting him before the game. He wants to bet me a case of beer that the Eagles are going to beat the Seahawks. I say, sure. How many points do you want? He says 0. I said, are you sure? He says yes. I say, I'll give you 3 just for fun. He says no. So it's straight up. And I gladly win a case of beer. But during the game, I'm texting him, being like, I don't understand what is happening. Why is this something that is actually happening? If I was in charge of the Seahawks or had any pull whatsoever or had the phone number of Paul Allen's wife, who is now the owner, I would call her and ask her to fire Brian at halftime. I think we'd do better without an offensive coordinator in the second half than we did with Brian Schottenheimer.
You should have said, how in the world is this game a 1-score game in the 4th quarter? It was 17-9, and I was like, it feels like it's like 40-0. I don't know, like, what is happening?
Carl, help me out, man. I'm lost.
I have no idea what to tell you, Denny.
So there was a lot of fucked up shit that happened tonight. One was Brian Schottenheimer still is in charge of things, which makes no sense.
Yeah,
2,
I don't know.
There was 2 random blokes that got on national TV that got to call a Monday Night Football game that have no idea what they're doing.
2 random guys.
Man, what the hell happened, man? Do you want to hear some of the things that they were saying? Because I wrote them down.
Yeah, I want to hear.
Okay.
I had the game on mute for part of it.
Okay, so one of them is, they said, Russ is so good, he could play another 10 to 15 years.
What age does that put him at?
Bro, when was the last time you saw a 47-year-old starting quarterback? What are you talking about? Good.
That's amazing.
Okay, next one. They said, this was on the Eagles' second possession. And Wentz made a decent throw, actually. I can't remember who it was, but ran like a little out pattern. It was like 3rd and 5 to the first down marker. And he hit him in the hands and he dropped it. And the commentator's remark was, oh! That's a drop. That's all he could come up with. It's embarrassing. Oh, this is a good one. So Wentz, I think it was like 3rd and 5 in the third quarter. Wentz like breaks out of the pocket, runs for first down. And the commentator's remark as he was running was, he has a first down and he's going to take on some people. Like he didn't even know anyone's name on the defense. He couldn't say like Jamal Adams, Bobby Wagner. He couldn't say anyone's name. He just said, and he's going to take on some people.
It's 2020. No one knows what they're doing.
Carl, this has to be a simulation, man. Like, what the fuck is happening? How are these people paid NFL analysts?
Oh, I read a great tweet today, and I thought this was going to come true. So listen to this. I was going to freak out. So the last two Seahawks-Eagles games, the final score was 17-9. Yeah. And the guy on Twitter's like, if somehow there's no scoring in the fourth quarter and this game ends at 17-9, we're definitely in a simulation.
It was close, man. Someone tried.
It was too close. Like, I still don't understand how. I thought it was going to be like a sick game when Metcalf and Slay started punching each other on the first drive, and I was like, "Sweet, there's some heat going on here." And then it's like just dead. That Chris Carson looked really good, though. I'm glad they gave him a few extra weeks to get healthy instead of forcing him back. But I don't know. Dunlop got injured though.
Did he?
Mm-hmm.
What happened?
Which is not good because he's actually looked a lot better than I thought he would.
I know. You weren't super pumped about him.
No.
And my comment was, I will take anything.
I know. That's what you did. It is what you said.
What I didn't see what happened to him. Was it late?
He had a foot injury and he left the game.
Honestly, it's not a bad time of the year to have a small injury where you need to stay
I hope it's small. What else are we talking about?
I got a lot off my chest. Tell me what you saw in the NFL this week, because there's a lot of weird games. Like, the Raiders,
I think,
who have played the bet. So let's all agree that the Chiefs are the best team in the NFL right now.
Yeah, I think that the Chiefs are over their Super Bowl hangover and they look fucking good again.
And the Raiders have beat them and played them very close in another game. And then they absolutely got shit pumped this week.
That's the worst loss I've ever seen.
It was so strange.
I'm not angry because they ruined my big parlay and that was my last leg of it, but like, that's the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen. Was it 40-3?
Yeah, something.
Against the Falcons?
41-6 or something like that.
Yeah. How about
they turned the ball over 5 times?
Okay, I want to talk about the division a little bit.
Okay, whose division?
So, the West,
NFC West.
Okay. So,
are you scratching your head yet?
The Cardinals beat the Seahawks.
Yep.
And then the Rams beat the Seahawks.
Yeah.
And then the Seahawks killed the 49ers.
Yeah.
And then the 49ers injured beat the Rams.
Yeah.
And then the Cardinals lost to the 4-7 Pats. Oh, dude. They lost to the 4-7 Pats when Cam Newton had like 46 passing yards and 2 picks.
That was his stat line?
At one, I think he ended up with like an outrageously bad stat line passing, and they ended up winning. He ended up with 84 total yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 picks, and they won 20-17.
Jesus.
Yikes. What happened? I didn't watch that game at all, but
it's just like Kingsbury's so good sometimes, and then he turns into like the worst play caller ever. And Kyler looks so good sometimes, and then so bad. Kyler had like 0 rushing touchdowns, 0 passing touchdowns, and a bad pick. And New England defense is like bottom 5, bottom 10 in everything this year, with everyone that's out for them. And then like I just don't understand who's good.
So,
and we didn't even talk about how Denver started a wide receiver at quarterback because they weren't allowed to start anyone else. He had more completions to the other team than his own team. He had 2 picks and 1 completion.
He only had 1 completion?
He had 1 completion and 2 picks. He literally had more completions to New Orleans.
I didn't know he only had
I feel bad for the guy. That's your first NFL game, and you get thrown into that.
How is that their best option? Sorry, I didn't hear what happened.
Because there was COVID, I think, and then someone got injured, and then they didn't have like an emergency QB, and he was their last emergency QB. And then they asked the league if they could start a coach from I think he was a wide receiver coach or something like that, and the league said no, you're not allowed to do that.
They asked the league if they could start.
I got to find out who they asked who they could start. It's hilarious.
But this guy was a wide receiver on the practice squad, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And they put him in to start as quarterback.
Yeah, against a good Saints defense.
That is unbelievable.
Broncos wanted to start their Rob Calabrese, their offensive quality control coach.
What does that even mean?
And the league said, no, you're not allowed to do that.
Why not, though?
I know. I think it would be fun.
If you just sign him.
Sign him for a day.
What? Yeah. How are you?
Give him a little contract.
Man, it's better than Carson Wentz, $35 million for the shit he put up tonight.
Seahawks D's getting there, though, Denny. I'm feeling more hopeful.
Based on what you saw, what are we? We're week 12 now.
Mm-hmm.
Who wins the NFC West?
So who still has to play each other? Seahawks play the Rams and the Cardinals still?
Yeah, so we have 3 shit games, and then...
Not the Cardinals, 49ers.
Oh, 49ers.
And then we play the Rams and the 49ers last 2 games.
See, that's what... That worries me, because I think the 49ers, if they get a little healthier still, are still pretty good. I think the Seahawks should still beat them. I don't know if they'll... I can't see them beating the Rams. Unless Goff plays like goof again. But what do they have? They have a 1-game lead now?
1-game lead. And I could say they probably have a tougher finishing stretch than we do.
Rams do?
They play the Cardinals, Pats, Jets, Seahawks, Cardinals.
Well, they play the Cardinals twice.
Yeah, so they could split that.
See, that's a problem though, because if one of those teams takes both games against the other, especially if it's the Rams, it's not good for the Hawks. Because then if the Rams beat the Seahawks and the Cardinals twice, then they would definitely win the division. Unfortunately. But I don't know. What week do they play the Rams?
That means the Rams win out, though. That's what you're predicting.
I think the Rams.
So in order for the Rams to win the division, I think they have to win out.
You think they have to win out? Yeah.
Because they'd have to beat the Cardinals twice, and then Patriots, Jets, Seahawks.
Yeah, that's a tough stretch for sure.
Because the Hawks play the Giants, the Jets, and the Washington team.
Yeah, so they should win all 3 of those
and
for
then
sure.
Niners, which is kind
of Rams.
Honestly, the Niners game doesn't really matter as much as I thought it would. and then the Rams.
Yeah, I think with the bad Rams loss this week, it definitely opens up things for Seattle to take it. Definitely gives them some more leeway.
Do you think, or when is Breeze back? Do we know?
He'll be back for the playoffs. I don't think they'll play him before that because they've basically got the division locked up already, and they should have the whole NFC locked up. Unless their strength of schedule is super hard coming in, which it is, and they play the Falcons, the Eagles, the Vikings, and the Panthers, and then the Chiefs. So that's probably 4-1. So they would get to 13 wins. So I even if Breeze can come back, I doubt he'll come back until the playoffs start.
So that would mean the only way for the Hawks to win the NFC would be to win out.
That would get them to 13 as well?
That would get them to 13.
13-3. And then it just come down to tiebreaker. Yeah, if the Seahawks get to 13 wins, I'd be super impressed. But I could see them doing that with a healthy roster again and a better D.
The D. So comment on the D.
Yeah, I think they're getting more pressure, and their pass coverage seems way tighter.
Well, this is the first game they've been healthy since week 3. And adding Dunlap, obviously.
Do you like Shaq, right?
I think he is physical. Mm-hmm. So he's much better than anything else we have on the corner.
Yeah, I agree.
And he'll take a couple PI calls a game, but I'm totally okay with it. It was the same as Richard Sherman, right?
That's fine.
He'll take a couple PI calls a game, but he is physical and he trash talks the entire time, right?
Yeah,
so he'll get a blatant PI call and he will still be in the receiver's face telling them that they fucking suck.
Yeah.
That's what I like about him.
Yeah. Man, I think if the Seahawks could win the NFC, even though there's no fans in the stadium, I think forcing New Orleans to play in shitty weather outside would be so different than in the Superdome at home on the fast track. Even without the number 12s, I think that's a huge deal.
I'm pretty sure if we have an NFC championship in Seattle, I'm going to find a way to be in the stadium. Mike, you're coming.
I'll come.
Okay.
I'll sneak in.
Carl, what do you think? You've been quiet.
Let's do it.
No, what do you think about
find a way into.
Were you very upset about today?
First quarter, yeah. Who wasn't?
It was a weird game, man. Everything just seemed to be like the Twilight Zone. Like the commentator.
And then it just happened so fast.
There was like a stretch in the third quarter, I think, where I was texting Nav and every third play was like, oh, fuck, that was a terrible call. Sorry about that. Like they called 2 really shitty, I think it was like a hands to the face and then like something else that gave the Seahawks first downs. I was like, oh man, that was tough.
I hate when they call the hand fighting pass interference calls.
I don't like
regardless on if it helps or hurts the Seahawks. Like, I hate when both the receiver and the DB are basically doing the same thing, and it always goes against the defense.
I agree. But there's 2 of those in a row that helped the Seahawks, and then there's 2 in a row on the other side that helped the Eagles tonight.
The one in the fourth quarter on Lockett, I did not like. It was like 3rd and 15 or something like that on the left sideline. And they called PI late.
I agree. Totally agree.
I just I don't know. The league is already in favor of offensive players. They don't have to make like 50-50 calls go that way too.
That's part of my problem this year with that kind of stuff is that I'm not sure what the defense is supposed to do. Like
it's so hard. It's so hard.
Guys like Quandre Diggs are literally set up by the league to be kicked out of games.
Yeah.
Like He's asked by his position, like he's a safety. His job is to break up pass plays. And if he hits a guy too aggressively, they just kick him out.
They just,
What the fuck is happening here?
I know.
What is he supposed to do?
Did you see the worst flag of the week went to Josh Jacobs in the Raiders game? I hope you saw that.
No, what happened?
You got to look it up.
Okay.
So he got an outside run call, and he absolutely leveled a corner trying to tackle him, and he got called for an offensive targeting penalty for lowering his helmet into the DB while running for the first down. Like it's just like it was outrageous.
Just the definition of that penalty makes no sense.
No. So like the DB can lead with his helmet, but the offensive player can't lead with his helmet on a run. It made no sense to me.
It just makes no sense how an offensive player who's trying to get an extra yard could get a penalty for trying to get an extra yard.
You gotta watch the play because he absolutely lays out the guy trying to tackle him, and it was sick. And then they called the flag. It ruined everything.
It's outrageous. I don't know what to say. Carl, we talk about this every week almost. Mm-hmm. What are you supposed to do? You're an NFL player. You play in the NFL. It's an aggressive football league. You're playing against the best athletes in the world. If you hit someone a centimeter off of where you're supposed to, you get a penalty. This shit is happening at a faster speed than 99.9% of humans in the planet have ever seen before. Mm-hmm. What are you supposed to do? Makes no sense. All right, Mike, we're going to wrap this up. I know you got shit to do. You got to make a prediction for next week. Sunday, 1 p.m., we play in
NFL
Seattle against the Giants of New York.
Against the Giants of New York with no Daniel Jones. Not that he makes them that much better. I'm going to say
the Giants are division leaders, though. Might as well point that out.
The Seahawks are going to win by 2+ touchdowns.
Wow.
It's going to be a 35-21 game.
I honestly don't remember the last time the Seahawks won by more than 10.
I hope they can beat
the years.
Struggling Giants by double digits. They should.
The week after we play the Jets, though, so I hope that's a bigger one.
Yeah. How are the Seahawks in letdown spots over the years?
What does that mean?
That's like the Raiders like losing barely to the Chiefs and then going to Atlanta where they should destroy them and getting blown up, or like the Seahawks going out east to play an early game against the Jets and like losing somehow. Do they ever do that? Because that's a common theme in the NFL in certain spots, especially when you're going west to east.
Right. I don't have that stat. I feel like the Seahawks, I can't remember the last time they got blown out by someone like the Raiders.
I feel like they're pretty good when they're favored. Maybe not in terms of like covering a spread, but they rarely lose to teams they should beat.
This year and last year, they've been really good on the East Coast for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's usually been like an Achilles for them, but I don't know. The last year or two, they've been fairly good.
Yeah.
Like they... Carl, what's your prediction this week?
Against the Giants, I think I'm going to go 31-17.
14-point victory.
Okay.
I think there's no chance we win by 2 touchdowns. It's just not. It's not in the Seahawks DNA, unfortunately.
Can you see this? Can you see the Giants scoring points against the Seahawks?
I can see. Can you get any worse than the Philadelphia Eagles offense, though?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You get pretty close.
Are you sure?
Oh yeah.
That was
especially when you're starting Colt McCoy at quarterback.
I feel like you gave Wentz way too much credit tonight. There was multiple plays where I
don't think he played good.
I just assumed he was planning on throwing to the other team, and he missed those reads as well. Like there was one where Jamal Adams was just standing underneath the receiver, and he underthrew Jamal Adams.
Oh wait, was that on the right sideline?
Out. Yeah,
he threw in a double coverage. Yeah,
but he underthrew Jamal Adams.
I know. I saw that.
Anyway. Giants game next week. I'm gonna go
prediction
31-23.
Wow,
23, eh?
If they gave up 23 to Colt McCoy, I can't.
We got a problem.
We got a problem. I'm off the bus again.
What's the lowest points we've given up this year, Carl? Is it today? 17?
Probably tonight.
Probably.
Oh, I guess they got to 17 on the Hail Mary. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, whatever. That is what it is.
That's okay.
I'm changing my points. I'm going to go 27 to 17.
Do you know what's amazing about betting is that the spread was 6.5 and Philly covered 6.5 by losing by 6 with the Hail Mary at the end.
Oh my God.
How many people are so mad at
That's
that?
tough. Oh, there's a few that are choked for sure. Jeez.
The spread is tough, man.
Spread's super tough.
Jordan and I, the last couple of weeks, for the Sunday, we've laid out every single game with the spread and we're like playing against each other.
Yeah.
And it's tough. Like there was one game this week that was 16.5. You're like, well, they are NFL players. You would assume that they're not going to get shit pumped.
What's crazy about how like efficient the algorithms are in Vegas is that there's college games that are like 50-point spreads and they'll get within like 2 or 3 points of it being like minus 48.5.
Oh my God.
It's so hard to beat.
Man, that's hard to pick. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Last thing I want to ask you, Mike.
Yes, sir.
This game's been postponed and changed 3,700 times. The Steelers and the Ravens Wednesday night. Who wins?
I think
I would love to see the Steelers.
Are both teams healthy? Or am I assuming that they're going to play with their COVID list?
I'm pretty sure Lamar Jackson is not playing.
Yeah. I think the Steelers win by touchdown and a half. It's my prediction.
Carl, correct me if I'm wrong. I think they said Jackson tested positive for COVID, so he can't play till next week.
Same with Mark Andrews and a couple other guys.
But it seems like this information they had about the COVID list, they already had it, and they keep trying to postpone it to a point where like both teams will be more healthy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're just Goodell's like catering to specific teams. So the product is better because Ravens Steelers is like one of the biggest rivalries in NFL.
It would have been a really good game if everyone was healthy.
It would have been unreal. Just too bad. That was like that Thanksgiving game was going to be sick at night.
Totally, yeah. I was looking forward to that the whole week.
Yeah.
Oh well. All right. Mike, we love you, man. Thanks for jumping on. Cool. Good to see you. Talk to you soon.